Hey, hello my friends, my name is Paul and welcome back to A Calm Touch of Fantasy. Today I'm going to be reviewing Kim Stanley Robinson's Aurora, and I wanted to put up some graphics on the screen to kind of explain how this book works so that I can easily tell you guys what this book is about so that you will know if you'd like this or not. And I decided to do it this way because I think it's a more in-depth explanation, and I personally love visual aids, so I decided to do it this way. So Aurora is a hard science fiction book, and what that means is that the science is in the forefront and it is detailed. In space opera, traveling in space is rarely touched upon to a degree that takes into account a lot of the current physics and astrodynamics and things like that. But with hard science fiction, it's more about taking the knowledge that we currently have in science and applying it to a possible way to travel in space in the future. Okay? And with hard science fiction, usually the antagonist is either nature or the universe itself, the perils of actually being in space, and just getting along with the people you are with in space. Whereas, like space opera, usually there's an antagonist, an evil side, an alien race, or some guy trying to take over control, things like that. And that's how I distinguish between hard sci-fi and space opera. So anyways, Aurora is a book about a generation ship. A generation ship is basically a ship that takes a very long time to get to their destination. So long, in fact, that multiple generations go through this ship. And the people that left, that started the journey, it is now their descendants that are arriving at the destination point. And so what's interesting is that the people that are currently on the ship, they never made the choice to go on this voyage. The choice was already made for them by their ancestors. And that's very interesting to me because it's basically this thing where, you know, your father is a veterinarian, and you know you're growing up and your father wants you to be a veterinarian, but you want to go and join a circus, or you want to be a lawyer, and so you're able to do that. With generational ships, you're stuck doing what your parents, what your grandparents, what your great grandparents decided to do. They decided to put you on this ship. And that just brings up a lot of amazing social science conflicts that I really appreciated in this book. And so the spaceship itself, if you see the pictures on the screen, it is two large rings and then a column down the middle. In the rings there are spokes that connect to the column. Inside the actual column, that's where the AI, the printers that print different robots, that print different elements and things like that are, and propulsion type things, and the very large mechanical must need type things are in that middle part, which would be like the stem. Now on the spokes have different ecologies in these different habitats. So there's a habitat that's like 4 kilometers wide, 4 kilometers long or so. And in that specific habitat, it might be the ecology of the Sahara Desert. In the next one over, it might be a habitat of the rainforest, or the next one's like a temperate zone. So we have all these different habitats with different types of earth zones in them, and each one provides something that everybody needs. So one area might provide clean water, another area might provide better farmland, another area might provide a specific type of animal. And so all of these things have to work together for this entire generational ship to run. Each element, each individual aspect of this generational ship must be recycled. So even when people die, their biology goes back into the ground to actually fertilize the soil. And the things that they throw away, the waste, it has to be recycled, and all the different chemicals and all the different gases, everything, all the different elements has to be reused and recycled, or eventually you'll run out of something that's very important. And the thing about these generational ships, the thing that's scary is when one thing goes wrong, when one thing goes missing, it throws the entire ecosystem out of whack. And so that is the ship that these people are on, and it's fantastic. The majority of this story revolves around one girl named Freya. At the beginning, she's a young girl, and her mother is Devi, and she pretty much runs the entire ship. She's the person that people look to fix things when things go wrong. They've already been in space for about, I think it's like 170 years already. So their ancestors are the ones that ended up making a choice for them to go on this journey. And so Freya is very much a strong-willed girl, and she doesn't really get along with her mom too much. And so Freya ends up leaving her mother and her father to go off and kind of find herself. And so she travels between all the different habitats, meeting new people, experiencing life, and just kind of figuring out where she belongs in this generational ship. And through that, we find all these different issues that are happening, what people are thinking about their voyage to this new planet, and we just kind of get an idea of what's going on. Eventually, they do get close to their destination, and when they get there, they have to make some really difficult decisions of what to do, and a lot of people are disagreeing with each other, and that creates all these different conflicts. And it's very interesting in this book because everyone aboard these two rings have very different backgrounds, and the habitat that they live in is a mirrored culture of a place on Earth. So everyone has all these different cultures, and it's just fantastic that all these conflicts come up and they have to figure out what to do. They really have no one to turn to because, you know, there's this Generationship that are way out there in space. So the conflicts in this there's a lot of perils of this prolonged space travel. And what's very interesting about this book is that the majority of this book is told from the perspective of the AI that runs the ship. Devi, which was Freya's mom, she actually taught the AI how to process information and how to write. So the AI, the AI starts out as writing very detailed scientific things, and Debbie tries to get him to, read books and to learn how to write. And so the AI, his writing actually improves as the story goes on, which is just a fantastic element that I found created this really subtle genius in the book that I really enjoyed. And it was just really a fantastic book. I just described to you guys maybe the first 100 pages, and this is a chunker of a book. A lot of things happen, but to go into more detail would be to spoil the experience. And it's just a fantastic book, and one that I think that people should try, that want to try hard science fiction, because I think even though there is a lot of scientific things in this, there are some really dry parts in this book that really go into like the details of viruses and bacteria and how different gases work on certain things and how certain materials and elements work on other things. it's very addictive to read. And I found it to be fantastic. I always wanted to find out, well, what was going to happen to these people. Like I said, I gave it a 5. Fantastic book. For plot, I give it a 4. For characters, I gave it a 4. For world building, I give it a 5. For setting, I gave it a 5. And for heart and mind aspect, I gave it a 4. It's just one of the stronger science fiction books that I've read so far. And I think that, a lot of people will actually like this book that like science, that likes to learn about different things. It's just so complex. At times this book is frustrating, but the experience is so fantastic, and I think you guys would absolutely love it. So check it out sometime. Thanks for watching. Comment below what you think of this book, and please like, comment, and subscribe.